situation where we can't trust that when and where the climatic situation would shift. So if there would be any kind of problem in network, please let me know, because there is a lot of thunderstorm going on. So we are going to talk about understanding literature review, which is a very, very important part of any research paper, because I feel and I tell all my scholars that before writing and before starting any research paper, you go for literature review. Without literature review, you won't to know. There are so many questions which it answers, and I have included it in my presentation also. So I just want to share my presentation, and then we can discuss thoroughly about literature review and how to do that. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So when we talk about literature review, it is very important. We have already done, understand what has already been done. It helps us in understanding that in this particular domain and in this on this particular topic, and what has been done in the wider subject area of that topic. So only it talks about the specific topic, but it also talks about its periphery, its ecosystem. So it is very much essential for several reasons, and the importance of a literature review can only be appreciated when the researcher asks himself a number of specific questions. I have tried to list down all those questions where researchers should ask these questions during the process of literature review. So these questions are concerning any of the research topic. Before starting it, you must ask, who are experts in the field? Has the work already been done? Because this is the one very important question. If the work has already been done, there is no point in repeating it. You have to shift your focus, you have your approach, you have to shift your thinking process. So work has already been done is the first question you have to ask before starting any of the paper and any of the literature review. Who are the experts in the field? This is the second question you should ask. What are the main theoretical perspectives? Common research methods topic. What are the main problems in researching the topic? Are there any major controversies in this topic area? Is the topic open to hypothesis testing? Is the topic a trivial one? So these questions you must ask before starting any of the research work, whether it is a paper or anything. So has the work already been done? This is one question which talks about work, because how original is your work? It is very important to know if you are repeating someone else's work already done by someone, some people somewhere in the world, that there is no point of that research. Giving something new, either your treatment is new or the topic. Has the work already been done? The question you should ask. You should look for. You should go for all kind of sites that what all work has been done. So consider changing his topic if the work has already been done. You should change your research topic or its focus. Otherwise, the research would not be worthwhile. It is very important to understand that before starting a topic, you must search that whether this work or related to it, if a similar work has already been done. So that is literature review and dealing with the first question is something that needs research topic. So whenever you feel that, okay, this is the area I want to work up, go for searching the literature. Okay, before writing the abstract, anything, you should go for literature review. You see that whether this topic or similar topics have been already or not been done. It might be genuine interest and it might be coinciding with someone else's work. So question which you should always look at, because whenever somebody, even if you write a research paper or you present it somewhere, people will ask, okay, have you referred this particular person because he is the authority in this particular area? So these questions you must remain prepared, whether you are writing a thesis or a dissertation or paper. These are the questions which will be asked, and if you are not referring to some of the in media we are talking about counter public, we cannot discuss without Nancy Jenkins. Without her, we cannot talk about. Similarly, Adorno or Khyber, we cannot talk about culture industry and literature industry. So there are people who in the field who are experts in that field who have done phenomenal work, and on the basis of that, literature is has been developed. So it is not very difficult to find out. If you are referring any of the paper, you are referring any of the article, in the bibliography and in references there are names which have been given. So you should always, which some names will be recurring in those bibliography. So those names you should see, you should pick it up, and you should refer to in literature. You should search on the literature about it. And this is not so difficult because also science citation index is also giving you Google Scholar, scholarly article will also give you the names of the expert. Okay, so how many people are cited how many times? So who are the people who have been cited most these are the experts in the field. So you must think about it. You must list their names, that these are experts. What are the main theoretical perspectives? Without theories, it is very difficult to interpret data. If data is there, there should be some theories which are needed to, through the lens of theories, you are seeing the data. So you have to construct a conceptual framework within which the study of the topic would be possible. And that conceptual framework will be constructed by the theoretical framework. So much needed. Theory is also needed in inform what kind of data is required. If you will go through the literature review, if you will read the literature related to your topic, then obviously understand that what kind of theories have been frequently used in these literature. So if there is one theory which has been frequently used, that means that you cannot move ahead without theory. So you have to use that theory in formatting, in constructing your own conceptual and so you need to understand that these kind of also come from the literature review, because and it is very easy, because if you are getting all this information from review, why not why should you not use it? Because all the time you cannot depend upon your own innovative ways of writing research. So literature review helps you in doing that. Sometimes people also take
Kataku mau sedih kamu harus kaduanya ini. Ichana ke isbin negara depan.
Hello. So sometimes I think somebody got unmuted. So sometimes what happens that you need to literatures, people also get scales that okay, this scale has been used in this particular, just borrow it from there. People also borrow theories, people also borrow concepts. Okay, so literature review, so why not to use it in the first place? So what are the common research methods in the topic? This also you can get from the literature review. That what are the common research methods? If you are trying to do a research through qualitative method, but you find that okay, most of the people have researched on this particular topic through quantitative method, then you should question yourself that whether you are at the right path or not, because people have used quantitative analysis and you are using qualitative analysis. If you are still convinced with it, but the literature review will give you the real perspective that okay, what are the common methods which have been used in this particular research. While reading the academic literature, it is very important to try to identify the common characteristic of how the research was carried out. I think that yeah, it is fine. Is the publication will be of a qualitative or a quantitative nature? So those already which literature you are consulting, they are using which method, qualitative or quantitative. If qualitative, what is the most common basis? If quantitative, what is the most common basis? Is the a mix of qualitative and quantitative? Is it it needs to be considered if the published research derives its data mainly from secondary sources or primary sources? Because sometimes you have to understand that in certain kind of studies, primary sources are very important and you cannot depend only on secondary sources. So from where deriving data. That is also, you have to, the literature review will guide you towards that. It not only guides you towards theoretical framework, it also guides you and in deciding your methodology. So research methodology can be very much. So you should ask that these questions, and you should see into literature that okay, what are the methodologies which are being used, how the data was derived, how data was analyzed. So all these things will be already guided by literature review. What are the main problems in researching the topic? So without a review of literature, you cannot know if there are many problems and several from the decided topic. One of the most common problem is data. Does it, how can one get access to it? If it can be accessed, how trustworthy it is? All these are important questions, because I can give you one example of my able to do a thesis in 2010 on ownership of. People said that there is nothing has been done. From where you will get the data? Who will tell you about ownership of media? Nobody is in their mouth, because it is such a controversial and such a data is into public domain. From where you will get it? So that's a very important question, that if you will get the data or not, or it doesn't exist. So literature review will tell you that how much data is available. Literature review will tell you that what are the problems which are existing in this particular topic. If you are not ready to just face those issues, then you have to be that if there are some common problems in researching on the topic, if there are data, if data does access the data, what is the process? Because I can give you another example that when I was writing a paper on journalism education, I found that people were not, the literature was very thin, and it's difficult to find out that how much literature I should from where. So one of the very senior professors paper I read, and he was historically tracing the journey of journalism education colleges. So literature review. So I found it upon that okay, journalism education curriculum, but I think about that from where it started. So sometimes the data also changes, and you get the idea and clue from literature review. Another problem which can arise is the framework in the published research. What happens that sometimes your topic is so new, or your topic is so twisted, that you don't find any very suitable theoretical framework. So what you do is that you go for find that there is no suitable theoretical framework, different kind of theories from where you can accept. Are there any major controversies in? Because sometimes what happens that the literature will tell you that if there is a methodological controversy, if there is a theoretical controversy, or empirical in nature. So many people think that, like sociologists, what they do, they studying on a small community, ethnographic, mostly ethnographic, and find the result to that particular district. So that's not wrong. So similarly, but there are many people like they always think that okay, they challenge this kind of methodology. They say that okay, this study cannot be generalized. Okay, theoretical or empirical nature can also be arise due to mishandling theory, data methodology, or choosing improper methods for empirical investigation. So literature review will give you not only the, it will also give you certain kind of dedicated understanding that where are the controversy lying. So it is one of the skills of literature reviewing to determine what are the controversies really are. So controversies should also be very much clear due to literature review. So these kind of, and mind data is very clean. So many times there are some topics which need certain kind of proper thinking and proper approach of dealing with it. So all topics that are not very clean. Many times people are not related to it. If you are using any scale, why are you using that scale? You need to justify it. So literature review will always guide you in that particular direction. Is the topic open to hypothesis testing? Because we know that hypothesis testing is not always needed. So topic, if you are doing a qualitative study, I don't think it is very easy to do hypothesis testing, because there is no hypothesis mostly. There are research questions, there are focused research questions or objectives. So hypothesis needs to be clear, unambiguous, focused and testable using an acceptable method. Not all research questions can be put in the format of hypothesis. So, and hypothesis is not required in every research. Okay. If it is mainly investigated using qualitative methods, then it may be very difficult to generate testable hypothesis. Mostly, it is next to impossible to design in qualitative research, because you cannot replicate it, you cannot taste it, you cannot, in the same condition, you cannot just replicate it. So that is why qualitative method, there is no hypothesis testing. In qualitative method, if the hypothesis is testable, then obviously we write the hypothesis. So a good piece of research does not need to contain testable hypothesis. It could contain a set of focused research question or research proposition. So anything related to qualitative, there is no hypothesis. So that is also, this thing is also, you can check into the literature, where hypotheses have been written, how, where, in which literature hypotheses have been used and it has been tested, and in which literature it has been rejected. It depends upon the methodology. Is it a trivial one? Now this is also very important, because many times out of fascination we choose a topic. Is it doable? Is it a trivial one? We have to think about it, that the topic which is trivial, why there is no trace of it in literature. Sometimes what happens, that you find that, okay, there is nothing has been done on this topic in the literature. Sometimes it is only because people have not thought about it, or sometimes people have thought about it, but they did not found it doable, but dismiss the idea because of no interest, because it does not add to the body of the knowledge. There could be any reason, there could be thousands of reasons. Many people would not find it very interesting, many people would not find it suitable for the audiences and peoples. Many still would not find it, still have thought that, okay, this topic requires much more depth, much more rigorous study, so it is not worthy to work upon in literature. So when you don't find a topic, when you don't find a topic, don't get disappointed, but you have to understand that, see all the perspective, whether the topic is really doable or it's not doable. So you have to think about that also. What should the literature review do? It should enable you to sharpen and focus your initial research questions or even suggestions. You have already thought in your mind that, okay, I am going to talk about, you have already problematized something, but literature review will tell you that how those problems could be crystallized, how those problems could be very concretized, okay, and it could be concretized in short sentences. It should provide you with a wide and deep knowledge of theoretical, empirical, and methodological issues within your research topic. As I already said in the previous slide, that literature review will also give you theoretical framework. It will also give you empirical and methodological research, that, okay, how to find how data can be generated, how which is the most suitable for your topic. So all these things will be given in literature review. It will also put a bridge between your research questions and your research findings. So whenever you research questions, whenever we give the answer of all research questions. Okay, this is the first objective, and this is my finding. Okay, so objective and research questions are actually answered in the conclusion. So literature review is a bridge between your research questions and your research. Review is also pivotal element of a research project, because without literature review you cannot just decide that in which direction you should. It's your plan work to the previous work, because in whenever you write that okay, this has my finding, you also should literature already talked about it, but they did not give direction. Okay, so it connects object area, and it connects your specific finding to the findings of others. So you should always mention, even in your conclusion, that okay, this is my conclusion, and this conclusion so and so and their work, and if needed, you can quote them. An inclusive activity in the sense that it undertakes, if undertaken properly, you become a part of the academic community who can speak and in a specific research problem. So if you are doing very good research, you can understand that how this particular domain would flourish, and it is flourishing right now. So you in this dimension or in this area, what are the things which are, what are the body of knowledge which is developing, and you can be a part of that. So what does literature review does, that it links linking to your research questions, it helps linking to your methods, it helps linking to your theoretical framework, it helps linking to your research findings. Literature reviews, sometimes we the literature review is also different review that can be undertaken depending on the purpose of the research. The main types of literature review, exploratory review, and instrumental review. So sometimes we do not think that okay, this research is these research will into this particular literature review will go into this particular direction. These are not mutually exclusive. Sometimes of them, two of them, or one of them, or sometimes unknowingly we are applying the permutation and combination of all three of them. So mutually exclusive, rather with each other. In case of academic research, mostly exploratory review is very much used, because what we do is that we are actually searching for, exploring for more literature and more insights through the literature on a particular topic. So generally academic research that is exploratory review in the form of literature review is used. What is evaluative review? So evaluative review is a type of literature review focuses on providing a discussion in terms of its coverage and contribution to the knowledge of a particular area. So what happens that when you are generating something, you are actually telling, you are evaluating it, you are giving something new to the body of the knowledge, you are contributing to the body of knowledge. So discussion of literature in terms of a coverage and there it happens by evaluative review. It is often used to directly compare findings from different projects when the findings are directly comparable. So when you are actually doing literature review, you are comparing it with other projects also, that your project not similar but moving into this particular direction, the literature, and then you come certain kind of new insight and you add it to the your this is mostly used in the field of economics. Evaluative review is mostly used in the field of economics. Exploratory review, which is very much used in academic, all kind of academic research. So it is a literature review which is seeking to find out what actually exists in the academic literature in terms of medical evidence and research methods as they pertain to a specific research subject area. So exploratory research review basically then it comes to, it also tells you about the topic, it also tells you originality of the topic and whatever we have already listed. Exploratory review completely gives answer to each and everything. It also used to sharpen focus in the specific topic. This type is to remain focused on the field of study and not let yourself to deviate in other directions. So what happens that ambitious and we try to do a lot of things. Means if review is going in one direction, we are not ourselves. We are in exploratory review. There is danger of deviating from the topic because if I am writing and if I am exploring media, but if there is a term called media education, I am deviating that, then obviously my whole focus will be shifted. So that's the most say that frivolous danger which is there. So the focus. So in exploratory review, you have to remain focused on your topic. You should not keywords. You should always keep it in mind that okay, these are the, you have to search your literature. The review should be seen as being informative to the researcher and providing him or her with clearer and types of data analysis conducted on this topic. It is also and a proper bibliography is presented. So exploratory review is very much important because it also tells you that all the literature and it should be informative to the researcher. It should give the researcher a new common theory methods and type of data analysis. So exploratory review is very insightful and all things needed for the further. Then comes instrument. This is where the literature is used exclusively as a source of information on how to conduct some research on a highly specific research problem. So if the research area is very specific, very niche, then you have to use certain kind of review where it will tell you that how to conduct the research. So you don't have to only see the originality of the work, you have to see that how to move ahead with the work, like in architecture, like in generally science subjects. So what happens that instrumental review is very much important. Okay, it is not designed to identify the state of the current knowledge in an area, but to identify the best way to carry out a research project. So current knowledge, more than current knowledge, when you focus more on that, how to do that, how to go about the research, then it is very much important. This type of review will also be less concerned with properly citing the literature, unlike the other two types. So in other two types, like evaluative literature review and exploratory literature review, what we do, we cite everything. We cite each and every literature. But in instrumental review, we do not cite the literature, but we actually move like status. Sometimes we write that, okay, the status of media literacy in Delhi. Status of media literacy among youth of Delhi. Suppose this kind of study I am taking, and I am actually writing a research paper on it. So suppose if I am doing that, how to do it? Okay, and what will we do? We will trace it through the very first campaign on media literacy and who were the target audience. So there will be very less literature available. So this will give me direction to do that, how to go about this particular research, and then how to conduct that research in a suitable manner. This is a very niche area where you won't find much work, because in Delhi, people have not worked more on media literacy, especially on youth. So maybe this kind of instrumental review would give you certain kind of insight, which will help you a lot in developing the understanding of that subject, and how to do it, how to go about that research, how to analyze the data. So these things will you will get and understand only if the literature is used exclusively. Okay. then we are nowadays there is a lot of topic which are set to be systematic literature review. Okay, so people are doing systematic literature review, which is a rigorous academic search process, and it aims to identify and evaluate all relevant literature on a specific topic in order to draw conclusions about the question at hand. So when we go for systematic literature review, we identify, select, critically appraise research in order to answer a specific research question. So it is kind of secondary research. It is not whenever we go for systematic literature review, we do it for secondary research. We do not do it for primary research. We are not doing any kind of what you call it. We do not do it any kind of first-hand research, but we are going to for secondary research. So it involves identifying, selecting, and critically appraising research in order to answer a specific research question. SLR should also adhere to a clearly defined protocol or plan, which with criteria clearly stated before the review is conducted. So you should have clear planning that what are you going to do in this particular research paper. So it is a comprehensive and transparent research conducted across multiple databases and grey literature, allowing other researchers to replicate and reproduce the process. The search strategy is carefully planned with a specific focus on a defined question in mind. It identifies the type of information searched, critiqued, and reported within known time frames. The review must include the search terms, search strategies, and any limits applied. So the softwares nowadays, if you know in vivo, bibliometric literature review, bibliometric, where you are actually searching some of the keywords and visualizing it and presenting it in a visual form, or Prisma chart. So all of them are actually the part of systematic literature review. They are providing a system. They are presenting the literature into a particular form. They are providing in a visual form, and that also in different under different names. So from different heads. So from all perspective, systematic literature review is being presented. So bibliometric research and Prisma graph, or certain kind of not only that, NVivo is a very good tool which help you, which very good software which helps you in searching the terms. And if you are searching those terms, you find out that okay, so this term has been used how many times in how many literatures. So that helps you a lot of when a lot of literature you are trying to analyze, then you go for systematic literature review. There are so many steps of systematic review, like frame research question, and in order to answer that research question, you formulate certain keywords, search and research the literature. So through those keywords, you can search the literature as many times as you want. Be critical. You do not accept all the literature as it is. Okay, a researcher can follow the IMRAD, like introduction, methods, results, and discussion format. Okay, so be critical. Write introduction. Say that okay, this researcher has given this kind of inference, but not talked about that particular area. Okay, you should always emphasize that okay, this research could have been more deeply analyzed if qualitative methods would have been used. So be critical. Be critical in whatever literature you find. Do not just follow it. Find a logical structure. Some people make a table and they write that okay, thematic analysis they do of literature. So reviewing your review, or step 5 is reviewing your review. Whatever review you have done, you review that also. You should not always be very much accomplished that okay, I have done a perfect work, I do not need to see it. You have to go through it, go back to the your work, and then see it. Review your own review. So whenever these are 5 steps of doing systematic steps for conducting systematic reviews. So whenever you are answering a particular research question, you are actually developing these steps. You are moving through these steps, and then you formulate and discuss on this particular through this particular method of systematic literature review. There are review articles also which are being written And what are those review articles? There are different form of review articles like narrative review, a qualitative, less structured review of a broad topic, providing a general summary, subjective study, selection of studies, no formal methodology, broader scope. So mostly narrative review, we also call it research article. We do not research. There is a difference between research paper and research article. So mostly narrative review is a qualitative. It is less structured review of a broad topic. It provides a general summary of all those. Okay, this is, if you will find that there are many review articles which are already written and published in good journals. Review articles, if you are only into reviews, you will produce a number of articles, number of papers only through reviews, and it will enrich you also. So subjective selection of studies. Subjective, why? Because I want to select only studies which have happened only in this particular area. No formal methodology. You don't have to write any methodology. You are just giving the some of the quotations, some of the citation from the already existing structure, already existing literature. So it has a very broader scope, and you are writing a narrative review paper. Then there is a critical review paper, which is detailed appraisal of the current knowledge, assessing strengths, weaknesses, and gaps. So you do what you do, you are critically analyzing all the papers which you have selected on a particular topic. You analyze them and assess their strength, weakness, gaps, and may propose new framework of theories also. So you may propose that, okay, these people have talked about it, but I feel that there should be a new concept which should be introduced, and you can introduce that. Okay, so critical review is also one type of review, writing a review article. Then thematic review. I'm sure every one of us have used it, thematic review, because it organizes literature based on themes or concepts, useful for exploring patterns in qualitative research. So certain themes which are recurring, like suppose on media literacy, if I am doing any research, if there is recurring digital divide, which theme is coming up, that there are people who are socioeconomically not very suitable, not very for them the access of technology is not very comfortably gained, then there is a digital divide. So the theme of digital divide is coming up again and again in a qualitative research. Then we can develop it as one theme. Then certainly the second theme may be gender based, like female are not given much more technology related equipments into house, and male have been given the mobile phones, but females have not been given the mobile phone. So gender would be second theme. So thematic review could also be possible, and it is also beautiful paper when you will write on the basis of literature only. This thematic review, if you will do, then also a paper can be developed. Theoretical review, analyzing theoretical frameworks and models used in literature, aiming to define or propose new theories. So you are not focusing on anything else, you are just focusing on theory. Okay, so if I am talking about media literacy, I am reading all those paper, and I am analyzing all those papers which have used media literacy and what kind of theories they have used. So a new paper can come up that, okay, best or most used theoretical framework into media literacy. Okay, so you can just think about it. There could be many other topics. Similarly, integrative review, comprehensive review that synthesize both studies and theoretical papers, allowing for diverse methodologies. So empirical studies and theoretical papers both can combine. So empirical studies, you have done certain empirical studies, and certain theoretical papers also you have cited. So that could be integrated review kind of thing can also be developed. So all these kind of review article, review papers can be written. Similarly, there could be historical review. As I gave you the example that when I started writing status of media education, so status from where I will trace it. I will trace it since media education started in undivided India. So from there I will start it and develop a field over, and I will talk about the field over the period of time, how it improved, how it come to the completely the structure which we see today. So how past events or studies influence the current knowledge, we try to see that into historical review. So that is also one type of review paper writing, where you can always trace the journey, and then you can come up that, okay, due to so and so contribution, today we see that the knowledge body of knowledge is like this on this particular topic. Then you have a scoping review, maps existing, like mapping of certain things. We say that okay, mapping of digitally excluded communities in India. So this is also a research paper. So when we do that mapping, that comes under scoping review, because what we do in mapping, we map the existing structure on a broad topic and identify key concepts, gaps, and types of evidence. Focus on breadth over depth. We are not going deep, we are going wide. And then we focus on more evidence. We are focusing on concepts, gaps, and types of evidence, and we map that what is the status of this particular topic in this particular area. So then we have methodological reviews that and evaluates research methods, assessing design, validity, and reliability. So research methods, what kind of research methods have been used in this kind of research. If you are only reviewing that also one review paper you can start. And then state of the art review focuses on recent developments and emerging trends. So when we say that okay, status of journalism education and emerging trends, that means that we are also talking about historical review as well as state of the art review. So it's not that all these types of reviews which I have shown you, they can only be tackled into one single paper. Rather, you can mix and match. You can actually use 2-3 of these kind of reviews papers, and then 2-3 styles, these styles, and then make a paper. Okay, so literature review is very I would say that strong way of deciding, and not only telling you if you are doing any empirical research, it will not only guide you, rather it is very helpful in writing so many papers in so many ways. These review articles are now very trendy. People are young generation, young people are writing so many research paper by doing this research review articles. So narrative review, critical review, thematic review, theoretical review, integrative review, historical review, scoping review, methodological review, state of the art review, all of this, these can be used and can be very well integrated into your paper. And on the basis of these kind of review paper, you can always write a very good paper, research paper, and you can include it into your empirical paper also. But how to select the type of review to be done? So when the researcher has a well-defined specific research question, the goal is to quantitatively synthesize evidence. When there is a sufficient body of high-quality studies available, and when transparency and reproducibility are critical, it is good to carry out a systematic review. So when your research question is very much clear and you are going for quantitative evidence, then systematic review is very much important. On the other hand, when the research question is broad or exploratory, a scoping review should be considered. So when you are saying that, okay, the research topic is very broad, it is exploratory, then you should go for a scoping review, because the scoping review, as I told you, that it will also tell you about future outcome or future course of action. When the aim is to combine quantitative and qualitative data, integrative review should be attempted. So when quantitative and qualitative both data are available, then you should not lift the data itself, but you should go for certain kind of empirical and certain kind of already available data. So in that condition, you can go for integrative review. When the aim is to provide theoretical insights, a narrative or critical review should be considered. So when only theories you are referring to and you are giving only theoretical insight, then narrative or critical review you can go for. For summarizing evidence for existing SR, an umbrella review should be considered. So as I told you that it can be a permutation combination of all kind of reviews, all these types, and you should not be only depending upon one type, rather you should use 2-3 types into one paper. So that is how you decide. And if there is any question, this is what I had to tell. If you have anything to ask.
Thank you so much, sir. Madam, for the excellent presentation. So, I request to the participants, if you have any query and questions, so you can ask to Madam. any participant.
Thank you, Priyanka ji. Anything you need to ask, because I don't want to become to just load it with so much of literature, so much of kindly guide how important it is to form correct research. Okay, okay. Arpan Preet has asked, yeah, kindly guide how important is it to form correct research strings for literature research. Yes. So, not strings, I would say that when you are writing, when you are searching certain papers, it should be very focused. Like your search should be uh, it is effective, it should be effective also, because you are, when you are searching, you will have thousands of scholarly article coming up. How many of them you are actually referring to? You are not going to referring to all of them. You have to see that which are very important. So you just scan through it, read the abstract, read the conclusion, leave all the things in between. Okay, if you are writing an empirical paper, I'm talking about, okay, empirical paper, if you are writing, then leave other things, just read the abstract, read the conclusion, and find out that whether this paper is useful or not useful. If it is not, you think that after reading the abstract you feel that okay, this is going haywire and it's not useful for my particular paper, then don't refer to it and move ahead. Move forward and see other papers also. Okay, so keywords are very important. Curating sites, if you are seeing, don't download the bulk papers, because it will only kill your spaces. Don't download it. And the bulk papers, especially academia.edu, they have this option of downloading the bulk papers. So don't go for that. Rather, you should very meticulously see each of the papers, scan through it, and then see that okay, how much it is useful. And if it is not useful, not relevant, there is no point of downloading it. Okay, so and if you are writing like methodological paper, just read through the methodology. If you are writing theoretical paper, just read the theory part of it. Okay, scan through it, do not read completely. It will take a lot of time, it will kill your time.
So next
So
question, Dr. Romila. If Dr. Romila is possible, then please ask the question to directly Madam Romila. If you are able to unmute yourself,
Good evening, ma'am.
yes.
good evening.
Yes,
Please,
ma'am, I
please
just missed
introduce
out
yourself after this.
okay, ma'am, my name is B. Sapunai Romila, and currently I'm pursuing PhD in Manipur University in the Department of History. So,
Okay.
yeah, I missed out that slide for has this work been done earlier by anyone else?
Okay, so
The particular.
you have to, before that, originality of research must be maintained. If your research is not original, it is not going to give you any credibility. So that you have to find out only through literature review. Otherwise, the repository like Sodh Ganga, where there's so many research theses have already been uploaded, so that you have to see. Curating site, you have to check. Then you have to check all those platforms where you find the papers, and you see that has this work been already done, because after 2-3 search you will come to know that the originality of your work. So whatever idea comes to your mind, check it first, that whether it has been already done or you are the first person to work upon it. Even if it is already been done, you just shift your focus. Okay, you don't have to be disheartened because if this work has already been done. Somebody has might have done it from different perspective. You might explore a different point of view out of it. So just shift your focus or approach, and you can actually go for that similar study, not same but similar study. So that was there in the that slide. Yes,
Thank you,
Shiva.
ma'am.
Yes, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I'm new. I've recently enrolled as a research scholar. So I just want to know that while we are just preparing our literature review, what things we have keep in our minds means what type of mistakes must not be done if I'm just preparing a literature review. Means silly mistakes or generalized mistakes everyone done whenever they are preparing the literature review in first time. Then that thing I want to know.
Okay, Shivam, very nice question, because these are very important. Because see, there are few mistakes which everyone does, is that just search it on Google. Okay, don't do that. Go for searching those literature on the literary curating sites like ResearchGate, Scribe, academia.edu, Google Scholar you can use for scholarly article, but don't go directly on Google. It will give you very, I would say that, huge amount of result, and you will get lost into that. So
Yes,
it will
ma'am.
take a lot of time of yours. So go for specific sites. There are so many specific sites for these kind of research, so go for that. And also do one thing that in generally in literature review, what people do is that they download each and every paper. Do not download, scan through it, and download only those papers which you think that it is useful for you. Okay, not all of them are useful, so do not go for those downloads. One more point, it was coming to my mind, that it is very common among people, is that yes, whatever they find on the topic, they cite it. Don't do that. Okay, first of all, the
Okay.
citation should be new. It should not be old, because the concept changes, and
Yes,
concept
ma'am.
changes so rapidly, especially in media. Since I am a media teacher, I know that media is so, means whatever I have studied, it is completely redundant. Nowadays, it is a new revolutionary world. So you have to cite very recent article. You do not rely on whatever comes there. Okay, Sudha and Sudha
Yes,
has
ma'am.
said so you just cited it. You do not do that. You just scan through it and find out whether it is relevant or not. Okay, and try to cite
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
recent articles. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Dev has asked some
Thank you,
research.
ma'am.
Thank you, Sivam. Suggested me that you should have enough literature which can be studied at least 3-4 years. What is your opinion about it? 3-4 years? Literature will always guide you. Means that it should have shelf value. Means it should be relevant. The subject should be relevant, as far as I can understand this up. Do you mean that that subject
Yes,
should
ma'am.
be relevant? Yeah. So yes, whenever we do research, we try to make it relevant for as longer time as it is there. Means right now, if I am going to talk about media and digital literacy, I know that in future it is going to be a buzzword. So you try to search for that topic which is relevant for a longer period of time. So that's fine. So many research scholars have suggested you. That's, I think, what I understand. If you are saying that, then that's fine. Yes, you should do that. Then Anurag is asking, how can one differentiate between a thematic review and a theoretical review in academic research? Yeah, theoretical review only if you are going and reviewing the theoretical framework part of it. Okay, there are 10 or 20 literature reviews you have collected, and you are only talking about the theoretical framework of each of them and comparing them, then it is theoretical review. But if you are going for the whole paper and bring out the themes out of it, then it is thematic review. Anurag? Anurag?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, is it clear to you, or should I?
Ma'am, I want to know more about the thematic. If my topic is very new, how can we identify the different themes?
Yeah, so if your topic is very new, you can find out the different methodology. Like I told you that on one particular topic, I could not get theories and literature, much literature. So I trace the history, the background of that particular, like journalism education, I trace the background of it. So you have to be innovative in your thinking. I'm not saying that in every case the thematic review is possible. It's not possible. Maybe if there's no literature, maybe you cannot do thematic review. You should go for some other way out. Okay, you should be innovative in your thinking, in your research, that okay, if this much is available, how should I go about it? Okay, and that will tell you what is possible. If you are doing a research literature review, that will actually tell you what is possible and what is not possible. So in many cases, it might not be possible also, Anurag.
Ma'am, can you please give some example of it?
Like I can tell you one thing, that when I started working on media ownership, the thematic review was not possible, because in India, In 2010, there was hardly any study on media ownership. So thematic review was not possible, because without the literature, I cannot do thematic review on the particular in a particular country, especially in India, because in other countries the study was done, but in India it was not done. So that is one example. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, can we do a mixed literature review? Like, can we use both thematic and systematic literature review? Yes, you can. You can. I told you that all these are not mutually exclusive. You can use a permutation and combination of all of them wherever you think that it is required. Yes, Haraswardhan sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, just the example you have just cited of the 2010 example of your media field. So, ma'am, if we can take a reference from if the similar work has done in the some other country,
we can
on
take
that
a
topic.
reference. We can take reference, but the problem is that it is a completely different setup. How relevant
Yes,
it is?
ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Their political social condition is what we call it a paste analysis: political, economic, social, and technological. Now it has become pastel. Legal is also introduced into it. So when we do that kind of situation, their framework, their system is completely different. So media is not a aloof. Media in Britain is completely different. It is working under a different kind of political and sociological setup. In India, it is working under a different kind of sociological setup. So in that case, we cannot say that similar example. To some extent, we can correlate it, but we cannot just do a paper out of it. That okay, in Britain, if the media is media ownership is like that, then in India also it will be like this only. Are you understanding my point?
Yes, ma'am. But ma'am, if there is not a relevant much literature on the topic, given topic, what kind of review we should look for?
Relevant means we have to make relevant, because to some extent we have to correlate it with the other. Means if international examples are there, we can correlate it, but we cannot just completely dependent upon that. As I told you, the critical review is also there. So critically, you can say that okay, this has been done in Britain, but the similar study needs to be done in India also, which is not there. That's why there is a huge research gap. So
yes, ma'am.
Literature review is very much useful in determining the research gap. Without literature review, you cannot determine the research gap. So you can always say from different point of view that okay, in USA this study has been done, in UK this study has been done, but in India this study is required, but no one has done it. So there is a huge research gap. So that is very pertinent to say. So how do you establish? How do you make your case of study? That depends completely upon your literature review. And there you have to be sometimes a little bit innovative also. I did a paper on during Corona time in which I cited YouTube videos. So it's not that always you can only cite your text. You can also cite certain kind of newspaper article, printed material, or websites or blogs. If blog is not by general people, by some expert, then you can cite it. You can cite websites. You can cite YouTube channels, and in Mendeley and many of these kind of management system, review system, reference managing system, you will find that YouTube videos are also being cited very well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any other question, Abhishek Gupta?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have a question regarding interdisciplinary research. Like I am doing like someone doing interdisciplinary research by going through the literatures of history and science. So how should we approach when doing the interdisciplinary research?
You see that's a two completely different stream. One side you have history and one side you have science. So history of science, if you will say, there are many people who are doing research on history of science. Just in JNU few days, yesterday and day after tomorrow, there was a conference on IKS, Indian Knowledge System, and I found that some of them have produced paper on history of science. So that way, see, collaboration can be done and integration can be done, but it should be compatible. You cannot just say that you cannot mix oranges and apples. Are you getting my point? Means you have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
see where it is compatible. Like media is compatible with sociology, media is compatible with English, sometimes media is compatible with film studies, it is compatible with political science also. But if you say that, okay, media and mathematics, then how are we going to justify? So there should be compatibility or interdisciplinary nature of work only when it is justifiable. You cannot simply do interdisciplinarity only for it, only for the sake of it. There should be some rationale behind it. Are you getting my point, Abhishek?
Yes, ma'am.
So history of science is fine, but history and science, and in science, what is the topic? That also we have to decide. Means the scholar has to decide. So you have to see all those points, and you have to see that whether it is justified or not, whether there is some rationale behind it or not. Okay, there is
Ma'am,
like
ma'am, if I am going for history of science, then there is element of science and history. So
Yeah.
while doing the literature review on
Mhm.
history of science, then what should I keep in mind?
That depends upon your topic, Abhishek. So actually, history of science is a very wide, very big, huge topic. So if you are narrowing it down on which aspect of science you are talking about, what historical context you are talking about. So if you are going for that, you have to first formulate the title, and then accordingly your research questions, and then according to research questions you have to go for literature review. Okay, so we cannot just imagine that history of science. For that matter, if I would say Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens, it is history, it is anthropology, it is science. All three of them, I would say. Have you read Sapiens?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have read.
Yeah, so it is all three of them. Nexus, for example, Yuval Noah Harari, I find him very interesting because he talks about all anthropological, historical, scientific concept and weave it into one. So that could also be used. Why not? So I am just telling you that it is too broad to decide right now. But if you will give me a particular topic, I can tell you that how to go about it. Okay, history and science, it is too big. It's a huge. It's an ocean.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Like ma'am, if I am going through the colonial science, then
Okay.
what I just need to know, like what I should keep in mind while going through the literature of like colonial science or colonial scientific education or institutions, anything.
Okay, so what you keep it in mind is like, first of all, your all literature should be relevant, which is very important point, because whatever topic you choose, it should be your literature should be relevant to it. Okay, so history, colonial history and science, it is not my subject, but still I can think about it. Like, suppose if you are going with the perspective that how colonial mindset has changed the scientific temperament of India, because Indians, the ancient India was very scientific, whatever we read about it, and nowadays how colonial mindset has changed the scientific temperament of India. If you are talking about that, then obviously you should go very deep into the historical text. I think that then you should go for the original text. You should go for some of the historical books, not only interpreted, but also the original one. Uh, uh, I can't name some of them, but I have heard that through some of the very wise people that there are certain kind of historical books, historical scientific temperament of Indian civilization into some of the Sanskrit books. So if you can even quote that, nowadays a lot of IKS is being done on by that particular original text. So interpretation also you can use, but more than interpretation, you can go for the original text. So that way, I think that you should go down if you have to go deep down into the history of science and think about it. Like Indus Valley civilization, it was considered very scientific. All the Harshvardhan ji is saying that please visit National Archives. Yes. like Indus Valley civilization, it is said to be very scientific. So but all I have read it only till 10th, but I have read it that it was considered to be very scientific and the architecture was very foolproof. So you can see that all for getting all those kind of insights, you have to work hard. You have to go to the very initial literature at that time, initial historical ancient literature.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. There is one question: literature review should be uniform throughout the study, or it can be combination of narrative. Yes, of course, it could be a combination of all of them. All of them. Anything else?
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, if I may, I would like to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am, I am Pani Renew. Currently, I am pursuing my PhD in the Department of Political Science, RGU, Arunachal Pradesh.
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, my question is, often I have heard during presentation that your research findings should be new, something new. But ma'am, there are cases, for instance, you may have objectives. We gather a finding, but the similar kind of finding, it was also found in other places. So in that context, how do we approach? Should our research always give a new finding, or sometimes it may substantiate the already present findings, established findings? So in that cases, what should we do, ma'am? Because this is a question often asked to research scholars.
Research is to establish. Sometimes research is done for new findings. Sometimes research is to validate already existing findings. Sometimes research is done to challenge the already existing findings. It's not that you can always give new finding. How can you give that? Sometimes you just establish that, okay, you establish the theory. This theory is proved. Okay, according to my research. This theory is disproved according to my research. So you can disprove, you can prove, you can give some new context also. So it all depends upon your course of research. I don't think that you should always give new ideas or new findings, because by the very definition of research, you can always go for disproving certain kind of already established literature or thoughts or theories, or proving them or validate them. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, actually the thing is, I've discussed this with many research scholars and even some of the faculties as well. They've said that since if your finding is not new, there is very less possibility that your paper would be accepted in a very reputed journal.
See, if your finding is also disproving something. Finding is also approving something. Approving is sometimes not very much sell well, because already existing theory, if you are approving it, people already know that, okay, this theory, suppose Newton's theory is already approved. If you are challenging it, people will accept it. So it also depends upon that how innovative you are in your idea, or you are approaching it with a different perspective. Okay, so it's not that in media we say that when we cover certain monuments, our editor-in-chief says that, okay, find out some new monuments or treat it in a different way. Okay, so about the same place, in Delhi, why Delhi is famous? Okay, Qutub Minar is there, Lal Killa is there from tourism point of view. Same thing, if I will write anything, same thing, if I will keep writing, it will not be suitable. So my approach should be innovative. What should be the approach? I could have come up with some new approach, like new news about Lal Killa, new news about Qutub Minar. So similarly, finding can be same, or proving or disproving any theoretical theories already there. But how do you approach it? How do you present it? Okay, so that also matters.
Ma'am, adding to that, ma'am, I also have a question. For instance, ma'am, there is often a debate about how long your literature review should be. Some say that your literature review should not have less than 7, 8, okay, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. For instance, I've seen some literature review, a narrative type. They just describe that this literature has this many chapters, and this chapter discusses about these topics. Nothing more than that. So in narrative, how do we approach? Is it the proper way where
No,
we
no, no,
only
no. That's
describe?
not a proper way of doing it. You have to find out, you have to about the literature. You have to see literature, one literature should be linked to the another. It should give way to the another. It should be logically developed. It should not be written like, okay, this literature has so many papers and so many chapters and so many, so and so has written this. What is the crux of it? That you have to decide, that you have to write. What is the crux of it? What is the part which is very much relevant for your paper? And then you have to write it, link it with the other literature, then link it with the third literature, link it with the fourth literature. Every literature should be linked to each other. It should not be standalone. It should be logically developed. Okay, and the writing it like that is a very bad practice. It's not required.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, last question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, since I had a network issue, that's why I could not join very early in this session. My last question is related to your research gap.
Yeah.
How do we write research gap? For instance, I pursue a topic. I read some literatures. My research gap should be based on the gap found in every single literature that I've studied, or it should in toto cover everything?
In toto cover everything. Not in every literature, but in toto, in general, whatever is there, it should be concluded. It should not be piece by piece written. It should not be written like that. Okay, in one paragraph you should always, in the last paragraph you should always write that on the basis of the above literature, we found that there are so and so research gaps which I am trying to fill it through my research or my work.
Okay, ma'am, actually the problem is, as a research scholar, not me, like in many cases, I'm sure it happens with many research scholars, that they want to do their research a certain way. But since they have a supervisor, and if they do not approve, we are not able to do that.
Yes, that's
so.
right.
At times, although we are disheartened, we follow their instructions. So this is the problem actually many of the research scholars face today, ma'am.
Yes,
so
I know.
At times we may not agree with what our supervisor is saying, but then because we do not have any other option, we tend to stick to what they say.
I would say that always listen to your supervisor.
Yes.
Always listen to your supervisor. Whatever they say, you should not argue with them much, because you have to, at the end of the day, you have to do your PhD. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go by that. Go by that.
Okay.
Okay, madam.
Everyone has a different style. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, thank you, ma'am. So, just I would like to invite Dr. Rinkualu Chai. She is an assistant professor, JT Government Model Degree College, Arunachal Pradesh, for giving the formal vote of thanks. Dr. Rinkualu, are you here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity, Vikas, sir. Ma'am, I take this opportunity on behalf of the organizing team and the entire participant. I thank you for the wonderful session, ma'am. I didn't have any question because all the doubts have been cleared. All the questions were wonderful, ma'am. By looking into the questions, you must have got idea about how interesting your session was, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences. You have shared the backbone, like it is known that literature review is the backbone of the research. So you have shared the experiences about the backbone. So we hope all the participants are have learned about the research, how to start their research. Thank you so much for sharing the types of research, because I have completed my doctorate, but by your lecture, I have learned so many new things, like about how many types of research, literature review are there, what type of literature review, and the differences between literature review. Thank you so much, ma'am. We look forward to meet you again in some other platform. Thank you so much again from the entire team. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Pranam, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So I request to Subhangi madam, please send the feedback form link in the chat box. Yes, thank you.